What's good, Brad Squad? It's your boy, Yonathan Elias, and today I'll be talking to the great Tony Peralta at his own shop, Taller Peralta in Uptown, Manhattan. You guys might remember when I spoke to him at Citi Field for the Dominican Heritage Night, but today we're getting up close and personal with him, all right? So we're gonna check out some of his signature work, his hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, paintings, and much more. We're also gonna talk to him about his family's immigration story and what it's like to keep the Dominican and New York culture alive through his artwork. Let's go talk to him. Mr. Tony, what's up, man?
What's up? How's it going?
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Likewise.
First of all, your shop is dope as heck.
Thank you.
Your shirts, your sweaters, your paintings and all that, it's real dope. You're a contemporary artist, right? So what made you even go down this path, and like what made you actually want to be an artist?
I mean, I've been drawing all my life. Drawing, an art is one of those things that it was the only thing I was good at when I was younger. In school, I wasn't always the best student. I figured out later in life that I was a visual learner. Classes like math and science, I didn't really do that well. I was always in an art program from elementary school to high school. After I graduated from college, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I couldn't find a PA job at that time. After a year of trying to get that kind of work, I got this opportunity to work for this PR marketing company that worked with urban brands.
Wow.
So 1999, 2000, at the height of like FUBU, academics.
Definitely used to wear all of those.
All of that, you know what I'm saying? Like Sean John, 555 Soul. I got better as a graphic designer, and then being around all these brands, with hip hop and growing up in hip hop, has always been about hip hop and fashion. So I was like, I want to do this. And a few years later, I started a brand called the Peralta Project. Throughout the years, it just kind of starts to take off a lot more.
You're Dominican.
Yes.
All basically of your stuff has like the hip hop, urban type of feel. So how did you put those two together?
I do what I know. It's very simple. I was born in New York City. Both of my parents are Dominican. I grew up in Dominican culture as well as hip hop simultaneously. I grew up in the 80s, so besides my parents being new immigrants, there was also like the birth of hip hop happening. And hip hop was happening as I stepped outside. Like you step outside, you see the b-boys, you see the graph. The stuff that you see visually, you don't really see here anymore. I will go outside and I'll see like graph on the walls by graffiti crews. This was happening in Washington Heights. My memories are what inspires me. People a lot of times they ask me where your inspiration comes from, and it's just like, it's me thinking back at that time.
You just recently went back to DR.
Yeah.
For an amazing reason.
I went for the opening of this design biennial that I'm part of. It's in the Cultural Center of Spain, and it's in the capital in Santo Domingo. I was asked to be part of it, and it was great. It's an honor to be able to go and showcase my work, in my parents' homeland.
Right.
So that felt really great.
To some people, it might not be that big of a deal, but like to go back to your hometown, your homeland, and to show them like, look, this is what we're doing in the States.
For sure, because it's an opportunity for them to see what being a Dominican American looks like and how I interpret being Dominican.
Right.
So that was really cool. The exhibit dealt with designers, from like clothing designers and people who make like products and even architects.
Oh, wow.
So, I was in really good company.
I do want to talk about your immigration story and how your parents came here, why they came here, when they did.
My parents met here. They both grew up poor. But it's interesting because even though they were poor, they owned the land.
My grandmother had no education.
Yeah.
She had 6 kids, one on the way. They had land, so she just rented it out. So it wasn't like they were rich, but land is...
It's very important.
Yeah.
My mother was already married at that time, and you get married and you go live with the husband's family. They were so poor that her mother had to come and bring her food. Eventually my mom, she asked her father for permission if she could leave to Puerto Rico to come to the United States. My father grew up really poor in this little small house with I think it was like 6 brothers and sisters. They all came here to find a better life.
So how does that make you feel to not only represent for your culture, but to actually make them happy and to show them all the sacrifice that they made to come to the States? Was,
I mean, it makes me feel good. I realized that later on. I started to really make sense of like my parents and the sacrifices that they made coming here. But not only that, but just the risks. And it's interesting because when you grew up in an immigrant culture, your family here in the United States, they teach you not to take risks. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you got to get a job, and it's like, and
Yeah.
you should be happy and grateful for it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, but y'all came here without speaking the language, not knowing anybody. I feel like now being an entrepreneur, I'm honoring them by taking the risk of opening up a shop and doing the stuff that I do. My mom has always been proud of like what I did. All she told me is like, yo, you gotta work or go to school. My father, you know, owned a grocery store here.
Wow.
Yeah. So they both have that entrepreneurial spirit.
You opening your shop here, because I'm sure you could have opened it anywhere. What made you open it here, and how has that helped you still being in touch with the deep culture?
I never thought I was gonna be able to open up a shop here.
Wow.
Because you know, we're in the process of gentrification.
Yeah.
The real estate up here is pretty expensive. I was actually planning on moving to the West Coast. Saw this space, looked into how much the rent was, and you know, I was like, okay, I think I could afford that. And it's been great, man. It's been a game changer
That's
for me.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been a game changer.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on that. Do you feel like, you know, because your family moved out here for you and your future, do you feel like because of that you're living your American dream?
I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the dream of being creative and being able to make a living off of that, you know, and I'm just very grateful that I'm able to do this every day. I get messaged all the time about being an inspiration.
You are amazing. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
you know
it.
I'm about to cop some stuff.
I know that.
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, there you guys have it. We got up close and personal with the great Tony Peralta. We got to see some of his artwork, but then also listen to his story, which is so inspirational. You guys definitely have to come up here and cop some of his stuff, all right? Peace.